Sports Talk Mississippi from SEC Media Days. The one and only Cole Cubelic joins us, Radio Row, Nashville for the very first time, and kind of a cool setup. I want to do this two different ways. One as a player and one as a broadcaster. Coolest in-stadium experience.
Oh. Broadcaster, wow, this might be the same one. Broadcaster was the Ole Miss game at Tennessee. Was that 2 years ago when they threw golf balls and mustard bottles at us?
That was it.
All right, so the loudest stadium I've ever been in was Neyland. And it was 99, so the year after they won a national championship. We go up there, and we throw a pick six on the first play of the game. God rest his soul, Jeff Klein. Love him to death. Deion Grant takes it back, and I'm telling you guys, I've played in Tiger Stadium at night. I played in the Swamp. It was not even close. It was literally deafening. Ben Lear standing right next to me, and I was like, man, that's loud. But I'm talking closer than we are. And then he didn't move, and I just yelled in his ear, like, man, that's loud. And he just looking up in the stadium. So but what they did this past year, how they do like the orange ribbon around it, and they have like an orange spotlight that comes down the field. They turn the lights off. You have the LEDs now, and then that tee comes out and opens. It's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then the team and Smokey run out there. So, like, that's probably the coolest, like, pre-game intro that I've ever seen. The coolest – all right, so for me, I tell people all the time, the coolest game I ever played in was the last Iron Bowl at Legion Field. Now, we lost that game, but I grew up in Homewood, Alabama, so Legion Field was like 2 miles away. And we used to take the Max bus. We paid 50 cents, and we would get on the Max bus, which is like the Birmingham transit system, whatever, and we would ride down to Legion Field for big games. We didn't have tickets. We didn't know anybody, but you could walk around and you'd bump into people that you knew. Like, oh, it's Brent Stave's mom. Like, come hang out at our tailgate. They'd give you a Coke and you hang out. And then, like, third quarter, we'd sneak in, watch some of the game. But also just Legion Field, the upper deck, said football capital of the South. And to me, that's what it was. It was actually just like my football capital because you had SEC championship game was there.
Yep. You
had bowl games that were there. High school championship games and playoff games were there. Alabama would play Auburn, Tennessee, other big games there. Like that was my football mecca. So to actually be able to start and play an Iron Bowl there, it's not going to get any cooler than that for me. The next year, first one at Bryant-Denny in 100 years was also pretty cool. Now, people will tell you how they hated that game because it was like 24 degrees and sleeting the whole game. But to be able to go there for the first time in 100 years and win, and we actually clinched the West that day because Arkansas lost, that was also pretty cool.
Did you get to play an Iron Bowl at home?
Yes, unfortunately, Sean Alexander.
Oh,
just like the next year at Legion Field, Sean Alexander.
Very sorry.
37 did a lot of damage.
He was good.
She did a lot
good
of
player.
Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah, because we had the lead in that the last Iron Bowl at Legion Field, we had the lead, and then the one at Jordan Hare, we had the lead, both at halftime, and then he just took over second half. Like it was like he just decided, all right, we'll go get this thing done. Like Deuce used to do at Ole Miss. Like, okay, now it's time for me to get going, and there's really not going to be anything anybody can do about it.
Yeah. The 99 Ole Miss at Auburn game, Tuberville's first year. You guys had bought your way out of the Florida State game, and people laughed about that.
Okay,
so Ole Miss fans are tomahawk chopping in the end zone.
First off, I don't think I ever had like more than $180 in my checking account in college. So how the hell would I buy us out of anything? I didn't buy anybody out of anything.
Yeah.
Second off, it was probably when you look back on it, was probably the right thing to do because Florida State was rolling. That App State game was much more favorable for us back then. That game sucked. I appreciate you bringing it up. It was on my birthday. I remember that, September 25th. We went to overtime and lost. We said so. Noel Mazzoni had green and gold checks, and you could do it a lot of different ways. So basically, green to the right, gold to the left. Inside, you call inside zone. Green 28, green 28. We're running to the right. Well, you could also call inside zone to the left and call green 28, and then run to the left. They knew every freaking play we ran. Like, they were calling them out. And Kendrick Clancy was also a problem on that defense. Like, he does not get enough credit in Ole Miss lore, I don't think, is how good a D lineman he was. He was tough to deal with. But they knew every play. They knew our protections. They knew everything. And I remember coming to the sideline like, Coach, we either need to start going silent count and just going gun or something. Because, like, they know everything. He's like, no, we ain't changing nothing. Like, just run it. Hugh Nall out there, just run the ball again. Whatever, man. They know what we're doing. So that was frustrating to say the least. Like that was not a
Hugh
fun
Dahl
game.
was a football guy to the core, wasn't he?
If that's how you want to describe him, sure. Yeah.
There might be some other ways you describe him.
Maybe.
Not fit for the air, though.
The reason that I ask about that 99 game, I know the circumstances
Better be good.
Well, I know the circumstances are a little bit different, but I'm curious if it's going to have a similar feel when Ole Miss rolls into Auburn this year with the whole Hugh Freeze thing. Time in between it. Again, it's not exactly
Are we
the
ever
same.
going to do an interview and you not reel me into this somehow, some way? Like, I feel like we're just bringing up the Arkansas game again. Like, you're not saying it, but you're kind of reeling that in.
No, I'm not going there at all.
You've got the bait on the hook, and you're kind of like, yeah,
I'm not doing it.
We'll get a shark.
I told you the last time we talked about that,
did.
I would never ask you about it again. But
Honestly,
I
I
was
don't
weary
know.
of people asking us about it.
I don't know how it couldn't, Richard. I don't know how it couldn't. And I mean, this is a game for a lot of reasons, mainly Tuberville and Freeze and somewhat Kiffin, that I'm going to be disappointed when it goes away. Just like Auburn LSU, for a lot of different reasons. And I know there will be other games that Ole Miss won't play that fans are going to look at. State Alabama would be one. Like, those are just.
Oh, I don't think disappointment's the right word for Mississippi State not playing Alabama anymore.
I mean, I get it, yeah, but it's just. Well, let's be real. State's played Alabama tight a lot of times. Now, last year not so much, but there have been some tight games over time.
Hey, Dad's trying to remember one of those.
It's been a while.
Jalen Hurts. I remember
been
going
a
to
while.
Starkville.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Game because I picked him to win before the season, and everybody told me I was a lunatic. I'm like, all right, just wait till you see that D-line. Like, they're pretty good. We'll see. But I don't know how it couldn't be massive. I don't know how it couldn't be extra. I don't know how it couldn't be more motivating for both sides. Like, I mean, obviously, Ole Miss fans are really going to be into it because they want to beat Coach Freeze. Coach Freeze is really going to be into it because he wants to beat Ole Miss. Like, I don't know if some will be taken away by, Liberty playing Ole Miss when he was there, and maybe it's a little less for him, but that's what it's all about, man. Like, that's why you guys have heard me say it. We love to hate more than we love to love. That's what makes the SEC so great. Like, most of our fans spend more time hating our rivals than we do loving our team. That's why it's freaking great. Like, I tell people outside the footprint, like, you don't get it, man. Like, I have to listen to people talk bad about Alabama more than they talk good about Auburn, and they're Auburn fans, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, we have a lot of Alabama fans that all they do is talk about Auburn. It's like, bro, you're in the Sugar Bowl, man. You're like 12-1. Like, calm down. Like, who cares? You just fired their coach.
It's a very Mississippi State thing you're talking about. I mean, Bulldogs could be in Omaha playing for the College World Series.
Don't make us make another bet, Richard. You don't want that.
I didn't designate that to any fan base. It's league-wide. It's maybe Vanderbilt is less of that. I don't know because I don't know a lot of their fans, but I feel like it's
we're in Nashville. Go meet some.
It's everybody.
Yeah. Go meet some. I've asked this question from a few people. I'm going to ask you now. If you did an SEC power rankings, your top four is going to be Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee in some order. Who's fifth? No. Okay. You're the first one.
There's this little podcast called Cube Show at Cube Show 61 on YouTube. You can find it also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we may have done power rankings yesterday. Yes, Georgia.
I haven't listened.
Yes, Alabama. Texas A&M would be after LSU, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then Kentucky would be 5.
So Tennessee's not in the top 5? Wow. Okay. Give us why.
You have Tennessee over A&M?
Yeah.
He's drinking the orange Kool-Aid there.
No, he's just looking at Jimbo parentally.
I think it's more about A&M at that point. Yeah.
All right, so here's the fascinating thing.
Who has more talented roster?
A&M.
Okay.
That's not new.
No, but here's the thing with A&M this year. Do they have a culture problem? I don't know the answer to that. And here's the problem with having a culture problem. If you went to a building and asked 2/3 of the coaches or 2/3 of the player and they had a legit culture problem, they would probably tell you no. Because you don't know until it's too late. Because it hits you so deep inside your – and I know this because I played on a team that had one. It hits you so deep inside your program that once that virus starts to spread, it's way too late. You can't go back. That's why you have to hit the reset button on it. I'm not accusing them of having that, but I think it's fair to say that it's possible and we don't know. If they don't and the offense gets turned around a little bit, they're going to be really good. They're not going to win all their games because I think at times they're a little too high risk defensively. I mean, put the Ole Miss film on last year. He comes out there and plays 3 down the first 2 series against the best running back in the league. Like, what are you doing? It's just some of the stuff doesn't make sense. But they're going to have a dominant defensive line. The offensive line should be really good. The quarterback is good. The receivers are great. they still have a really good football team.
30 seconds. You've been around Jimbo. Will he let go and let Bobby Petrino do his thing? Because to me, if they do, that's a scary offense because Bobby Petrino is good at his job. But I don't know if Jimbo's going to let go.
I think he will. I think he knows he needs to. And the reason that he will is because I don't think Bobby will do it the other way. Bobby's just as hard-headed as Jimbo. And that's what will benefit A&M more than anything is Bobby has enough FU in him that if Jimbo tries to take it back, he'll just say, here you go. I'm out.
Do you know how cool that explosion would be to watch?
Here's another reason why it can work. Jim Chaney.
Okay. There you go.
Offensive analyst for A&M. He can at least bring a little bit of joy and laughter to that room.
Cole Cubelic, ESPN, SEC Network, Jocks in Birmingham. We'll be right back.